Hi guys, welcome to the final part of my look through the drivers competing in this year's Formula 1 World Championship. It's kind of 3 laps 6 topics for this one because we've got 6 drivers still in the bag, but this is kind of a much longer race. This is a bit of Gran Turismo 6, thought I'd change it up. So we're going to kick off with someone who I think's not really got that much to lose this year. It's Daniel Ricciardo. My thinking is, if he struggles a bit, I don't think it's going to matter. If he struggles in the first few races, I think Red Bull, especially from the PR side, are going to be able to protect him and say it's the car, it's joining the team, it's a whole mix of things. So I think if I'm Daniel Ricciardo right now, even though I'm going up against Sebastian Vettel, 4-time world champion and all that, I'm going to be quite relaxed. In terms of how I think he can do, I'm not sure whether he's got the same pace as Vettel. I'm not sure if he's got the same pace as Webber, but he's definitely a solid driver at least. And I think he's quite a nice chap as well. So if he can win some races this year, if Red Bull get their car sorted, which I think is a possibility. He definitely a couple of times got that Toro Rosso through races that were a bit interesting, shall we say. He took opportunities in that Toro Rosso with both hands, and I think he can definitely replicate that in a Red Bull. So go on, Daniel, have a good year, son. Anyway, second driver on this lap. Sergio Perez. He's got a lot to prove, hasn't he, after last year? Still, part of me doesn't agree with McLaren letting him go that quickly. I think that a lot of it was political reasons, which I don't like to see in F1, but it's the nature of the beast. Once again, I think Perez-Hulkenberg, in a similar way to Massa Bottas, which I talked about earlier, it's going to be a really interesting battle between who I think are two quite evenly matched teammates. And with Force India looking like they've produced a really solid car to take definitely the first half of the season on with, I think Perez can hopefully fight back a bit more, fight back against those critics, as long as he calms his on-track manner down. If he goes back to 2012 Perez, I think he can have a great year, and maybe even get a top 10 in the championship. I'd quite like to see that, because I didn't enjoy the Sergio Perez of 2012. I didn't enjoy the Sergio Perez of 2013 as a McLaren fan when he was bumping wheels with Button, but we'll let that by the by. Third driver that we're going to talk about today is his teammate Nico Hulkenberg. I will admit I didn't like Nico Hulkenberg in the past, but he was one of those drivers last year who kind of made me put my hands up and go, okay son, you've stepped up there. I think Hulkenberg will beat Perez, but as I said earlier, I think it'll be close. It won't be by 20, 30, 40 points. It'll probably be 10, at most 10. But yeah, if Force India can produce a car that keeps a good level of performance throughout the year, I think Hulkenberg could definitely get podiums. And who knows, in its former guise as Jordan, they had a knack of taking opportunities with both hands. Damon Hill's win in Belgium '98, Frentzen when he took a couple of wins for Jordan. I think there's still an element there that Force India are a team. If people are having an off weekend, say your top 3-4 teams are having an off weekend, it'll be Force India who will be there to pick up the pieces. And I think in Hulkenberg they've now got the maturity of a driver who can deliver. 3 drivers to go, 1.5 laps to go. Chilton. Right. I mentioned Marussia earlier, and thinking that if it's going to be one team of Marussia and Caterham to score points in the first couple of races, I think it's going to be Marussia. I'm going back to my point with Chilton. Chilton gets a lot of jip for being the slowest driver F1's ever seen. He's not, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a Brit, but he is not. He's not gonna be on the podium in 4 or 5 years. I'll give you that, but he's still quite a decent driver, and I think warrants a second go. And in particular, I was impressed with his ability to get to the end of races. And in this first half of the season, where that is going to be so crucial, but in terms of reliability is going to give the teams like Marussia enough of a headache. What they need is a driver who's not going to start banging wheels with his teammate, the Caterhams, if there's a Toro Rosso battling with them on a weekend. And I think Charlton, that's me thinking Sheffield United, and the fact we've just got to a semi-final in the FA Cup by beating them. Sorry about that. But I think Chilton, as wacky as it sounds, Chilton could score points this year, simply because he'll be like this slow tortoise. He will get to the end of races. 2 guys to go. Here is my tip for the driver's title this year. It's Lewis Hamilton. Although I don't think he's going to win the first race. Do you know what? I'll give my first race prediction here. Hamilton will get pole. Rosberg will win. Rosberg will win. I've thought Bottas third. Raikkonen second. That's my prediction. That's my prediction for the race. But anyway, Hamilton, I just get the sense that he's really psyched up for this year, and he knows this is potentially going to be one of the best chances he will have in his career to not just win a title, but win it in quite dominant fashion. Maybe not on a Vettel or Schumacher-esque level, but definitely on, say, like Mika Hakkinen when he had that 1998 win. For me, he's getting quicker. He's definitely getting more mature and wise in terms of his racecraft. I know some people don't like his lifestyle and sometimes think that starts to affect his racing too much. I think he's dialed that out now. The move to Mercedes has definitely done him well. And with all those things combined, the fact that I think he's quite settled now in where he is my tip to win the title this year. Last but no means least is probably the most interesting debutant on the grid this year. It's Kevin Magnussen. I can see why McLaren have made the switch based on testing and having a driver that they can get feedback from, because it's quite evident that Magnussen is a very, very quick driver, and the progress that McLaren have made in testing, I think, has been quite evident of that Magnussen is a very strong driver when it comes to setting up a car. I don't think he's going to do as well as Hamilton did in his first year, but that's not to say that he won't be on the podium, at least the podium, if the McLaren's quick, which I think it will be. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does. He's definitely more than just your ordinary rookie that rocks along every couple of years. He's definitely someone who could develop into a race winner and potentially champion. But then again, they said the same about his dad, and that didn't turn out too well. So anyway, that is it. That's all 22 drivers done and dusted. I hope you've enjoyed this mini-series. All the links to all the other episodes are on the screen now. I hope you stick with 3 Laps 3 topics throughout the year. We're going to have F1 reports, World Endurance Championship reports, hopefully a little bit of WRC as well as more videos with a bit of live action. So hopefully I might be back at WEC this year. That's pending. Definitely more of me karting in the British Unis Championship. So all of that to look forward to. Thank you for watching. I've been Andrew the Blade, and I'll catch you on the other side. Goodbye.